think you should pay everybody. Is it the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for. You just got it.
Deep debt, and that is the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
What happens when a so-called super mayor starts losing her grip on power, surrounded by scandal and drama at every turn? Well, buckle up, because that's exactly what's going down with Mayor Tiffany Henyard, and it's getting messier by the day. From explosive board meetings to secretive legal teams, Henyard's world is unraveling fast, and everyone is watching it all come crashing down. Let's dive into this wild story of power, betrayal, and, well, a lot of lawsuits.
Is there a motion to terminate Keith Freeman?
It all started with what seemed like a minor scuffle at a public board meeting, but it quickly spiraled into something much bigger. You know those tense, drama-filled public gatherings where everyone's trying to be civil, but the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. That's what went down when an attorney who had been close to Henyard decided to spill some tea. And not just any tea, he exposed some of the shady stuff happening behind the scenes, hinting at corruption and misuse of power. Yep, Henyard's inner circle is starting to crack, and it's not a good look. People in the room were floored, and the chaos that followed set the stage for what was about to be a very public unraveling.
Coming in, unfortunately, we knew it was going to be a little messy, but it's just something we felt important that had to be done, that should be done. But like I said, you have just some accountability.
So what exactly did the attorney reveal? Well, the details are still murky, but from what's been hinted at, it looks like Henyard has been making some moves that aren't exactly on the up and up. Corruption, misuse of funds, and questionable decisions are all part of the story now, and her once loyal allies are beginning to distance themselves from the sinking ship. It's like everyone's finally realizing that standing too close to Henyard might drag them down with her. It's the ultimate betrayal, and it's not going unnoticed.
Who would make a one-day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon? And the main thing is, what is it?
The fallout from that meeting didn't just end in the room, though. This incident ignited a firestorm of accusations and growing public scrutiny around Henyard's leadership. People who once supported her are now questioning everything. Why is she making decisions that seem to benefit herself and not the community? What's she hiding? And most importantly, how long can she keep up this act before it all falls apart? That betrayal was the tipping point that shifted public opinion, turning Henyard from the once powerful super mayor into a leader clinging to whatever scraps of control she can find.
But the administration can adhere to some financial limits. We're not looking to necessarily...
Let's not forget about the board meetings, which have become must-watch spectacles in themselves. These aren't your typical, boring town hall gatherings. These are full-on dramatic performances where every moment feels like it could lead to an all-out brawl. Henyard's style at these meetings is nothing short of combative. She refuses to back down, even when the facts seem stacked against her. In a recent session, she got into a heated argument with the moderator over procedural rules. Imagine that, arguing over how the meeting should run instead of actually addressing the issues at hand. It's a power move, sure, but it's also a sign that Henyard is losing her grip. She's constantly on the defensive, deflecting questions, dodging accountability, and ultimately showing that her control is slipping.
Fox 32 has investigated Henyard's use of a police security detail, taking officers off the street and costing thousands of dollars.
People have started noticing too, rude, arrogant, and condescending. Henyard needs a timeout. One user commented, summing up the frustration that's been brewing for months. And they're not wrong. Henyard's leadership is being called into question left and right, and no one's really buying her excuses anymore. The meetings have become so chaotic that attendees can barely get a word in without Henyard trying to shut them down. When public figures start avoiding transparency, that's when you know something's seriously off. But it doesn't stop at the meetings. The legal trouble is piling up faster than anyone expected. Rumors are swirling that Henyard is quietly assembling a defense team, and for good reason. There are lawsuits popping up left and right, with many accusing her of financial mismanagement. People are starting to ask the obvious question, where is all the money going? Well, no one seems to have a clear answer, and that's a huge red flag.
Sometimes we get invoices, but those invoices lead to more questions, and sometimes we don't get answers to those questions. And so it's not about clickbait, it's about just making sure the right thing is.
To add fuel to the fire, Henyard has been spotted with some unfamiliar faces at these public meetings. Yep, you guessed it, criminal defense attorneys. They've been seen sitting right next to her, which only raises more questions. Is Henyard preparing for something big? The speculation is that these lawyers are getting ready to defend her against what could be some pretty serious criminal charges. And when you start seeing criminal defense attorneys at a local board meeting, you know things are not headed in a good direction. People in the community are catching on, and they're not happy about it. She wants no accountability for anything she is clearly involved with, but still tries to act like she's the boss of everything, one observer noted. The frustration is palpable. Henyard's efforts to maintain control are looking more like desperate attempts to save face rather than any genuine effort to clear her name. She's losing credibility fast, and the community knows it.
Hey guys, it's the Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the People's Mayor and People's Supervisor.
The lawsuits aren't just about vague allegations of corruption either. One of the biggest scandals involves the denial of a business license to a local entrepreneur, and the whole thing reeks of political motives. Tyrone Esom Jr., the owner of a local barbershop, invested time and money into purchasing and renovating a property, only to be denied a business license without a clear explanation. It's been said that this isn't an isolated incident, in fact. It's part of a broader pattern where Henyard's administration has been accused of making licensing decisions based on personal or political gain, rather than following the usual rules and regulations. In most cases, business license applications are pretty straightforward. You meet the necessary criteria like zoning laws and safety regulations and you're good to go. But not in Henyard's world. Esam's case is a prime example of how things go wrong when the process isn't followed fairly. Instead of being given an opportunity to fix any issues with his application, Isam was simply shut out, no questions asked. This has left people wondering, was this really about public safety, or was Henyard trying to make moves behind the scenes for her own benefit? The lack of transparency here is troubling, and it's just one more piece of the puzzle that's starting to show the bigger picture of corruption.
The legal appointment, that's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next steps.
And it's not just the business community that's feeling the effects of Henyard's questionable leadership. The broader public is starting to voice their concerns in a big way. The community is fed up with the chaos surrounding their leadership, and many are calling for more transparency, more accountability, and frankly, public trust is at an all-time low. And as more details about Henyard's administration come to light, it's becoming increasingly clear that her days in power might be numbered. At recent meetings, Henyard's confrontational style has only made things worse. She's refused to take responsibility for any of the accusations against her, often deflecting questions with vague, defensive answers. When asked about the business license controversy, Henyard offered no real explanation, instead choosing to blame the system and sidestep any direct involvement. It's the kind of response that only fuels suspicion. If she had nothing to hide, why not just come out and say it?
Township residents are paying for her fund.
Governor J.B. Pritzker has also been asked about the mounting scandals surrounding Henyard, and while he didn't dive deep into the specifics, his response was telling. He kept a diplomatic distance from the situation, emphasizing the importance of integrity and transparency in public office. But here's the thing, when a governor has to remind people about the basics of good governance, you know something's seriously wrong. Pritzker's refusal to directly comment on Henyard's legal issues speaks volumes. It's almost like he knows what's coming and doesn't want to get too involved. Behind the scenes, there are growing concerns about how Henyard is handling, or rather, mishandling the community's money. Reports suggest that the township's finances are in shambles, and with multiple investigations already underway, it's likely that more dirt will come out in the coming weeks. Federal authorities are said to be digging into Henyard's spending habits, and if the rumors are true, the results won't be pretty.
I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything. It will just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
Some residents are already jumping ship, recognizing that aligning themselves with Henyard could have serious consequences. They don't want to be caught up in the legal mess that seems to be growing by the day. And honestly, who can blame them? There are just too many lawsuits, too many accusations, and way too many unanswered questions for anyone to feel comfortable staying on Henyard's team right now. In the end, it's clear that Henyard's once solid power base is crumbling. The combination of legal troubles, public dissatisfaction, and growing scrutiny from higher authorities is creating a perfect storm, one that Henyard might not be able to survive. As each new lawsuit comes to light and each new accusation gets thrown into the mix, her credibility continues to erode. For many in the community, this is a sign that it's time for a change. Henyard's leadership has been defined by controversy, and it's only a matter of time before she's forced to face the consequences of her actions. So what's next for the super mayor? Will she be able to hold on to her position, or will the growing pile of lawsuits and scandals finally bring her down? As one resident put it, there must be deals happening right now, and honestly, that seems like the only explanation for how things have gotten so out of hand. One thing's for sure, Henyard's days of flying under the radar are over. The spotlight is on her, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. As more and more people call for her resignation, it's becoming increasingly clear that Henyard's time in power might be coming to an end. The question now is, how long will it take before she's forced to step down? And when she does, who will step up to clean up the mess she's left behind? Only time will tell, but one thing's certain, this drama is far from over. Will Henyard face legal consequences, or will she find a way to hold on to her seat? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned for more updates on this unfolding saga.